for Cigar Talk, the fastest growing cigar show in the nation. Whether you're a new cigar enthusiast or a cigar aficionado, we have something for everyone, bringing you the best interviews, cigar reviews, and weekly giveaways. So grab yourself a cigar.
It's time to light 'em up.
Hey guys, welcome back to Cigar Talk. I'm your host, Rob Jones, and I think we got a really great show for you today. We'll be talking with Octavia Toliver from Atlanta, Georgia. Have a great interview with her. Then we talk to BOTL, get his smoke and find out where he's smoking. And then we'll talk to the CigarManOffical and get his cigar tip of the week. Also, just wanted to let you know this episode, while I'm sitting here doing the podcast, I'll be smoking a Viva La Vida cigar. It's a AJ Fernandez blend. It's a fantastic cigar. If you get the opportunity to get one, definitely want to check it out. If you don't know how to get one, holler at me and I'll let you know where to find one. Also on our website, if you haven't checked it out yet, we do have t-shirts available right now for a limited time. Have the Cigar Talk logo, and they are called the Light 'em Up Crew t-shirt. So go to our website if you'd like to get one of those. They come in up to sizes 3X, and so I hope to see you on Instagram wearing some Cigar Talk t-shirts. So without further ado, let's get to it. Welcome back to Cigar Talk. I'm your host, Rob Jones, and we have a special guest from Atlanta, Georgia with us today. It's Octavia Toliver. She's leading a movement for women in the cigar industry and the cigar shop and lounge scene. And so we just want to say thank you for joining us. How are you doing today, Octavia?
Hi, Rob. I'm doing great. Thank you so much for having me.
It's our pleasure. We've been looking forward to this interview for quite some time, and we've been waiting to hear your story. So tell us about how you got into cigars.
Wow. Yeah, so I mean, it's probably been about 10 years or so, something like that. And I don't know, it's funny, a guy I met, I was out one night and I met him and he wanted to take me to lunch the next day. And lunch ended up actually being at a cigar lounge. And I was like, why am I here? Why would you bring me here? You know, I had never smoked cigars before or anything like that and never been to anything like that. And but, you know, it felt really good for me. I mean, I was really young, you know, and I wasn't really used to being in a space where, you know, there were kind of meetings going on and, you know, I think there was like some golf on the TV or something like that. And people were kind of conversing, you know, and just a really, really cool vibe. And I just liked it, you know, and it felt mature. It felt comfortable. I felt sophisticated in that space. And honestly, it's so funny because I don't remember the guy. I couldn't even picture him, like if someone paid me to point him out.
That's hilarious.
But I remember the experience and I remember how I felt, and I just couldn't wait to call my friends and say, hey, like we need to go find some of these cigar lounges or bars or whatever they are, and like really kind of get into this thing. And it's funny, you know, I feel like the first time it probably wasn't the cigar that attracted me to it.
Sure.
It was probably just the atmosphere. Do you know what I mean?
The atmosphere. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And so that's kind of where it started. And I mean, from there, you know, I would just kind of go around and luckily I'm in Atlanta. So we have, you know, close to 100 shops, lounges, bars here for just cigars. And so there were a plethora of places that I was able to kind of go to continue my journey and learning about the cigars and just being in that environment. And so, yeah, I just kind of continued on and that was that.
Well, that's a great story, especially since you can't remember who took you to the first one. It was all about the experience.
Sorry, guys, whoever you.
Sorry,
but thank you.
And I've heard, I did not know before I started doing this show how important the Atlanta scene is in the cigar community. I mean, you guys are blowing it up. And I just read an article, I believe last week, that Cam Newton is opening a new cigar lounge there in Atlanta.
Yeah, he is. He actually had like a soft opening during the Super Bowl. And I had heard rumblings of it, but he kind of kept it pretty quiet. Not many people really knew about it. But yeah, Atlanta's definitely of the top markets, if not the top market for cigars. So it's huge here, you know. And it's funny because I mean, when I was first you know, entering my journey, I obviously didn't. And honestly, 10 years ago, it probably wasn't even where it is now. but I had no idea of the social scene and just how thriving the industry was here.
Wow. And being from that area, you probably weren't aware of how big the market was in Atlanta
Mm-mm.
compared to other cities in the nation.
No, not at all. And honestly, I mean, that's one of the reasons. I'm not sure if you are familiar with Atlanta Cigar Week. So I'm one of the founders of Atlanta Cigar Week, which we will be in our third years this year.
Oh, very nice.
Thank you. And so we kind of started that week because people really don't know, how much we have to offer here, in the cigar space. And so we really wanted to create a week, for people to be able to come to Atlanta and really just kind of see what we have to offer, and check out some of the lounges, some of the shops, some of the little shops that you may not, even people in the city, they're like, oh, well, I've never been to this one place, or I've never been there.
Oh, I'm sure there's
And,
tons of shops that the
oh, there's a
locals haven't been to. You know what I mean?
tons. Yeah, absolutely.
So, are y'all having a
So,
special week for that?
yeah, so that's actually, we received a proclamation from the city of Atlanta last year, for the third week of September of every year, is officially Atlanta Cigar Week. So
All
the
right. Well, I'm
third
gonna
week
have
of
to.
September.
I'll have to
Thank
check
you.
my calendar and try to come out for that.
Yeah, man, it's a good time.
I've been reading so much about the culture there that I was like, that's a place that's definitely on my list to go to a smoke shop.
Yeah, for sure. Let me know if you're coming. Absolutely.
I definitely will. Do you have a special moment that you shared a cigar with someone, or you had a celebration with a cigar? Tell me about a moment that was like special while you enjoyed a cigar.
Good question. I would definitely say one of my, and it's funny because I mean, when you think about cigars, a lot of times people think about, a celebration, or,
Right?
you're kind of celebrating something or whatever have you. My most memorable moment, I was actually alone, and I was in Dubai, for Dubai Cigar Week, which I also co-founded. And this was last year. And the first night I got there, we just kind of did a little running around during the day. And, I kind of we had an event that night. And before the event, I just wanted to kind of relax in my room and just kind of unwind. I mean, 17-hour flight, like I need a little rest. And so I was in my hotel room, which was actually relatively close to like one of the mosques there. And I heard this like sound, this music or something. And I was like, what is that music? And I stepped out on my balcony, and it was just, and I learned later that it was the call to prayer. So I guess they have this like loud sound system that goes all around the Emirates, and it's the call to prayer. And I kind of sat, and I mean, it's just the most serene sound, and religion aside, belief aside, it was just like this moment, it just meant a lot to me, because I've been smoking cigars for a long time, but yet I had only,
What a great experience.
yeah, and but I had only been doing it in a professional manner, as far as the events and the different things like that, for only 2 years at that point. And so it was just surreal that something that I had loved for so long has now led me to Dubai. Do you know what I mean? And I'm getting
Yeah,
paid to
a
be
whole
here, and
different culture.
it was just a really surreal moment, and I was just really grateful in that moment. And I had my cigar. I just sat there on the balcony with my cigar and listened to the sound, and it was great.
Well, that's
Thank you.
awesome. That's a beautiful story about going to another land and enjoying a different
Yeah,
culture as well as your cigar.
absolutely,
That's
absolutely.
awesome.
Thank you.
So I think what you're doing in the women's space of cigar industries, you're making a big
Mm.
impact. What inspired you to become a leader in creating that movement and opening up the equal opportunities and roles within the cigar community?
Well, honestly, I mean, I really don't know that I sought out to be a leader per se. I just know that when I first started smoking, and I kind of started on my journey of learning about cigars and things like that, it wasn't the most inviting thing. It wasn't, necessarily comfortable. I mean, at that time, I don't know how many women were smoking at that time. I know there's a lot more now, but at that time, I'm not sure how many women were smoking. But when I would go to any lounge, shop, bar, whatever, I would be the only one there. If not the only one, maybe two or three max. And
Right.
it's kind of like walking into a meat market. So, so either so either you're getting cat calls, or you're kind of being spoken to condescendingly. They're they're
Right.
throwing Tatianas at you.
Yeah, you know, it's funny that you say that because I was at a cigar
Uh-huh.
event only just like 2 or 3 months
Uh-huh.
ago, and one of the regular women that come to the cigar shop, whenever this cigar rep approached her, he tapped her on the shoulder and was like, "Oh, I have the perfect Connecticut for you,"
Wow.
and that was hilarious because she smokes bolder cigars than 90% of the
Wow.
guys in the shop,
Absolutely.
and she really was, kind of
Offended.
offended
Absolutely.
because you automatically assume I'm going to be smoking a Connecticut just because I'm female.
Absolutely. It's really insane. I mean, and it still happens to me every now and then now, but I just brush it off now. But back then, and just, and I'm sure that she was offended, I'm sure, but it wasn't going to deter her from doing whatever she was there to do. Do you know what I mean? But imagine,
Oh,
right? But
absolutely. And yeah, I was there, and she was, and she was real. She was gracious
sure,
about it, and was just like, no, no, I'm looking for some of these over
right.
here, which
The big
was,
boy stuff.
the right.
Yeah.
And so that was an observation that I made, that I was just like, not completely
hmm
understand why you're doing what you're doing.
Absolutely. And and like I said, because ultimately, it's something where it's like everyone has to learn at some point. Everyone has to learn, like I said, for me, it just wasn't a very good experience when I was learning. And so, fast forward, 9, 8, 9 years, however long, I just felt like that there was something that I could bring to the space that provided a safe space and provided that level of comfort for women, and also just for beginners as well, whether that be a beginning guy or a beginning woman. Because at the end of the day, like I said, everyone kind of starts somewhere. So I'm not going to laugh someone out of the shop if they want to smoke, whatever it is. You know what I mean? I want to be there helping them.
Oh, I do know exactly
So
what you mean. Yes, and that's what I was telling a guy at a shop not long ago. My wife likes her steaks well
hmm
done. That's not
hmm
me, but we should all have the freedom to eat or smoke however we choose.
absolutely, I totally agree with that.
I have to ask you, and I've seen your Instagram
Yeah.
page. Great work, by the way. You've smoked a lot of great cigars. Can you give us your top five?
I have smoked a
Is
lot.
that a
I
tough
have
one?
smoked a lot of good cigars. I don't know if I have a top five per se. I like several, and it's let me just really quick story. It's funny. So when I was first smoking again, because I was just feeling really like insecure about the whole thing, I only smoked Perdomo. What is it? The 10th anniversary champagne.
The
I
champagne, which is a
own.
great
It's a
Connecticut, by
great
the way.
Connecticut, and I still like it from time to time now. But I literally probably smoked that cigar a good 3, 4 years. Like, would not smoke anything else. Like that was my go-to. But I still like that. So every now and then I like one of those when I'm in a kind of a mild mood. I love the L40. Nice, smooth, about a mild to medium, I would say. I recently tried a Happy Van Winkle, actually, Family Reserve, and that one was just amazing. It was
I have not
amazing.
seen
It was
those.
great. It really smoky, kind of a bourbony type of flavor. It was just great. It was great.
And was it from the Pappy Van Winkle drink?
Well, it's a Drew Estate cigar. I'm not sure. Yeah, I
Okay.
I think that the drink is somehow connected to the cigar. I guess I really don't know. I
Okay.
mean, I never tried the drink, but it was a really great cigar, and I started it out, and I thought I wasn't really gonna like it because it felt a bit full, on the start of it, but it kind of mellowed out a bit, and it was really nice, really nice. So yeah,
Wow,
those are a couple
great.
that I like. Monte Cristo number two, of course. Like a good Trinidad. God, there's just so many.
So let me ask you this, because everybody always has to
Yeah.
ask: Have you smoked any Cubans?
Oh God. What do you mean? I only smoke Cubans?
Oh, the secret comes out. Well, in
Hilarious.
Texas, we don't really have a lot of options as far as Cubans go. I mean, the occasional friend goes down to Cuba and brings some
Yeah.
back. We enjoy some of those,
Yeah.
but you know, I know in the Atlanta culture, you're probably a lot more accessible to Cubans than what we
Yeah.
are.
I come across them sometimes, but honestly, like we all kind of know. All right, it's a Cuban. Like there's some cigars from DR that are great. There's some from Nicaragua that are great. You know what I mean? So,
Cuban cigars are made differently than they are for what the states sell.
mm-hmm.
And I was talking to a friend of mine who just came out with a new cigar, Viva La
Okay.
Vida, and his blender was actually AJ Fernandez, and he was describing the difference between the two Cuban and the States cigars. And our cigars usually start out with like a little kick,
Sure.
and they can build up,
Mm-hmm.
and then they mellow
Mm-hmm.
out, and then a little kick back on the
Mm-hmm.
end. Where Cuban cigars, the way they produce their cigars is it starts out mild and gradually builds all the way through the cigar, leaving the end of the cigar that you're smoking super strong.
Oh,
So,
I'll have to
and
pay attention to
that's
that the next time I smoke one.
Billy, that's the one that I
Mm-hmm.
talked to that made these new
Uh-huh.
cigars. Oh man, he knows so much and passed on so much knowledge in
Wow.
his interview. You'll definitely have to check
Yeah,
him
for
out.
sure.
But so, what would you say you're going to be smoking tonight or tomorrow if you had to make a choice now?
Actually, someone just gave me a Davidoff, what is it called? 50-year chef's table, I believe it's called.
Oh, okay.
So I mean,
Have you?
that'll be a new one for me. I literally just got it, maybe last week or something like that, and I haven't been able to try it. So I think
Wow.
I'll give that a go.
I'm impressed. You can hang on to a cigar more than a week.
Listen, I have, and let me clear this up. So they're like, oh, how many do you smoke a day? Her aficionado. And I'm like, I have a 3-year-old daughter. I can't smoke every day. Where am I going to smoke? Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Yes, I mean, it's easy for me to hold on to them. I'll get around to smoking maybe 2 to 3 times a week, something like that. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a good
Yeah.
amount. That's really, I smoke quite a few more than that, but the drawback
Mm-hmm.
to smoking as many cigars as what I smoke is it really plays a number on your palate to where if I'm going to do a review or a tasting, I have to like force myself not to smoke a cigar for several hours.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, I can see that because at some point they kind of all blend together.
Right. If I smoke 4 or 5 cigars in the evening or, afternoon and evening together, by the time I'm on my 4th or 5th one, I'm like, they all taste the same.
Right.
So that's some of your favorite cigars. Do you have any favorite pairings for us?
Well, I'm not really a pairings kind of gal. Sometimes I will do a nice Scotch, a nice Macallan, or something like that with Padron 64 or something like that. Like that would be a nice pairing for me. But most of the time, I really drink how I feel.
Okay.
I drink how I feel, and that's regardless of what cigars I have with me. Sometimes, like I said, I might be drinking a nice whiskey or something like that. But then sometimes I might want, a cognac margarita or something like that. Like I'm kind of
A cognac
Yeah.
margarita. I've never
give
heard
it
of
a go.
that.
Try
That
like
must
a
be.
Mai Tai margarita.
Wow.
Give it a go.
I will definitely put that on the list. I've never heard of
So
that.
I mean, I just believe in, I understand the pairings, and sometimes you want to match the flavors and the intensity of the drink with the cigar. But for me, what's worked for me is just I drink what I feel like drinking that day at that moment, for the most part.
Well, I like
Yeah.
that because you're drinking what you're in the mood
Yeah,
for.
absolutely.
That sets the whole tone of whether or not you're going to enjoy it to the
Right,
max.
absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely about the experience. And if I'm not in a sweet drink kind of mood, then, maybe I'll go this way. If I'm not really wanting to have that, real punch, then maybe I'll go a little sweeter. So it just depends.
I
Yeah.
gotcha. I don't really do much alcohol at
Okay.
all. Usually, I'm pairing my cigars with coffee because
Okay.
I'm a coffee
Okay.
addict. But I'm very picky. I'm almost a cigar snob, but I'm not. But it's all freshly ground, and it's coffees from all over the world, and I just love the different flavors, and so that's what I usually pair my cigars
Okay.
with. Every now and then, I'll have a bourbon. I like Buffalo Trace, or I even like a Jameson. But that's my range of alcohol is pretty narrow. But I am definitely going to put the cognac margarita on the list.
Give it a go. And it's actually funny when I was I had someone introduce me to and because I'm not really a coffee drinker, so I'm kind of like the opposite of you. I don't really drink coffee. But he he had some chocolates and gave me the coffee, and we had the cigars, and the dark chocolate with the cigars. Oh my gosh,
I bet that was
it was
great.
amazing. I didn't expect such, I didn't expect, the flavors to just kind of mix so well. I mean, it was amazing.
Well, that's something I'm going to have to try for
Yeah, the
myself.
dark chocolate, give it a go. It's really, really good.
So, what should your followers expect to see from you this coming year in 2019? Any surprises?
Well, if I told you, it wouldn't be a surprise, but
Oh, well, you can give us a hint then.
yeah.
Come on now.
Well, no, definitely. I'll definitely be going to a few different cities this year. Doing events in different cities. So I'll be able to, just kind of really touch more people. I mean, it's fun on social media, but when you're able to really get out there and, talk to people
Oh,
that have,
face to
yeah,
face.
talk to people that have supported you and that you've supported. I mean, that's really the number one thing that I'll be doing this
That's what
year.
it's all
Absolutely.
about. Yeah, that's
Absolutely.
great. So, any trips to Texas?
I'm actually thinking about going to Texas in April. So yeah, we'll see how that pans
All
out. Yep.
right.
Absolutely.
Well, if you come to the DFW area,
Hmm.
definitely let me know.
Yeah.
And depending on what weekend you happen to be there, we might be able to meet up and have a
Yeah,
cigar.
absolutely. I will definitely keep you posted.
What advice would you give to women across the country that are in different cigar communities?
The first thing is really just to stay true to who you are. Be yourself, and, don't feel the need to, create a character just to be in, whether it's on the social side, whether it's on the business or the industry side. Don't feel the need to, be extreme one way or the other. You don't have to be over sexualized to get the attention that you need to go for whatever it is that you're after. And on the other end, you don't have to be one of the boys to, you know what I mean, to kind of fit in, to be
Oh,
accepted as well.
absolutely.
And so I think that sometimes some of the ladies, kind of go on both ends of the spectrum. And ultimately, if that's who you are, then that's who you are. But if that isn't who you are, then it isn't going to last anyway, because you can only keep that up for so long. That would be one thing. And then another thing is just to, really just, let's just support each other. Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
let's
Yeah.
all support each other. With me, and I'm really grateful for some of the opportunities that I've gotten, and, some of the things that I've been able to do and accomplish. But for me, it isn't enough for just me to be, here on your podcast. Like, I want other ladies to be able to get on your podcast, and
Well,
to be given other different opportunities, and to be able to go and do their own events, and just these different things. You know what I mean? Um,
Well, I'll tell you,
yeah.
and it's very important for
Hmm.
me to support the woman movement in the cigar
Sure.
industry. I think that is a huge space coming
Yeah.
up, and especially since your story of saying that 10 years ago you were probably like the only woman in the
Yeah.
cigar
Hmm.
lounge, and now you see more
Oh,
and more,
absolutely.
and so as that community really
Hmm.
explodes, I think it's exciting. I
Yeah.
mean, just you're adding so many more cigar smokers to the whole community. You're adding a new
Sure.
perspective. And I don't know if you heard, but I had Emmy Lee on the show a few weeks ago, and she owns a cigar lounge in San Diego.
Oh, that's awesome.
And she's got a really cool, it's like a bohemian style speakeasy. And so, I
Wow.
mean, it's a really cool atmosphere, and it's almost like a woman's touch to a cigar lounge, and that's what made it
Oh, I
special.
love
You know what I
that.
mean?
Yeah, you'll have to send me that information, and send me her contact and everything
Yeah,
as well, or her Instagram.
I'll send it to you. And it's just a really cool club. And the way I came about it was another friend of mine on Instagram went over there and he shared it with me, and he was telling me how amazing it
Hmm.
was. So I wanted to get her on the show. So I'm all about supporting that portion of the cigar community.
Hmm.
And so if you know others that you think would be a
Sure.
great guest on the show, we'd love to hear from them as
Yeah, and I mean,
well.
and I really appreciate you, Rob, for, accepting that, the industry, the community is changing, and there are women that are involved, from one aspect to the next. And, lots of women are really kind of doing their thing, and I appreciate you for embracing me, and for embracing us, and for and really just, and for having your show just in general, for the culture. I always say it's for the culture, it's for the culture. So I appreciate you, being here and, interviewing great people. And yeah, keep doing what you're doing as well.
Hey, I appreciate that. Well, do you have anything else you want to share with us before we go? Maybe you could tell everybody how to get in contact with you on Instagram, if you have Facebook. Tell us everywhere to look for
Yeah,
you.
I'm on Instagram as well as Facebook. Herficionado, HerFicionado, on both, and you can DM me if you need something, or otherwise follow me. And yeah, hope to see you guys sometime soon. Like I said, Atlanta Cigar Week is September 16th through the 22nd. And definitely follow me. I'll be having a lot more things kind of coming up here pretty soon here. So
Well, we thank you so much for being on the show, and we
thank
look
you.
forward to the great things that we see in your future. So keep up the good
Thank you
work.
so much, Rob. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Octavia. Have a great
You too.
weekend.
Bye-bye.
Razor Sport. Sports betting is legal. Sports books are opening left and right, and now is your time to beat them all. Razor will show you how the real professionals beat the book consistently. Visit razorsport.com. That's RAZER sport.com for a free trial. How to play, what to play, how to win. Join razorsport.com. Free. That's RAZER sport.com. It's where the winners come to win. It's Razor.
Welcome back to Cigar Talk. This is Rob. We're going to reach out to a BOTL this week, and he's up in New York. Is that right, or Maine?
Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania. Well, for us Texans, it's all that same area. So, Chuck.
It's all up in the Great White North.
That's right. Hey, Chuck, we appreciate you joining us tonight. If you would, tell everybody what you're smoking. I know you're getting to smoke one right now.
Oh, right now I'm smoking Viva La Vida Gran Toro.
Oh,
That's,
nice.
The 60 by 6. Great smoke. It's just, I guess I call it like a sine wave, almost like a roller coaster. You start on this thing, it's a little spicy at the front end, and then mellows out really nicely in the middle.
Yeah.
Just a really beautiful, smooth smoke.
Yeah, I guess you heard the interview with Billy last week, and he spent a lot of time and effort building what he perceived to be the cigar that the people wanted. So I think he nailed it. So what do you think?
I'm with you on that one. I think he nailed it perfectly.
And I love the story of the way they came about making the artwork for the band of that cigar and the box itself. They had a employee there that was an artist, and she basically made that from scratch. That's pretty impressive. It's a beautiful artwork as well.
Yeah, I was listening to that. Actually, I listened to it again today, and I listened to how she did the mural for his cigar shop that he had, and then designed the label and printed all that up. And that's really cool.
Yeah, that is cool. So what do you do over there in Pennsylvania?
Well, I am a training manager at a nuclear power plant.
Well, that sounds dangerous.
Not dangerous at all. A little stressful at times, but not dangerous.
I got you. Okay. Well, I don't hear from people that do that every day, so that's pretty cool, man. How long have you been doing that?
Oh, God, I've been doing this now for 4.5 years at the plant I'm at right now, and I've been in training now at Nuclear Power since about 2000.
So here's my question about that. How come we don't have more nuclear power in this country?
There's a lot of politics involved, and we're fighting the politics right now. It costs a lot of money to build a nuclear power plant, but once they're up and running, they run very efficient. They're one of the most efficient types of electrical generation we have. But right now, with natural gas and fracking and windmills and all that, a lot of those technologies are getting subsidized by the government.
Right.
So it's really hard for us to compete because we don't get any kind of subsidies, even though like our generation is 100% greenhouse free.
Right. I
So
mean,
it's like
really,
zero emissions.
you guys are the greenest of green when it comes to energy, aren't you?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome. So tell us about, in Pennsylvania, where do you go to hang out and smoke a cigar?
My favorite place down here is it's a place called Old Havana Old Havana Tobacco Company. It's in Westchester, Pennsylvania. Not a huge shop, but a really nice humidor. Not the biggest I've ever seen, but they've always got it stocked with some really fantastic sticks.
And that's what matters, man. I've been to some places that have huge humidors, and they're barely stocked with any cigars, so that's kind of a sad situation. But, yeah, I don't really judge a shop by how big the humidor is. I judge it by how many great cigars they carry. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I mean, I can walk in on any day and pick up a Liga Privada or, a Flor Dominica Cabinet 5, along those lines. There's always something good to smoke there.
Cabinet 5. Now you're just taunting me, aren't you?
I am just a little.
Say, the Cabinet 5 and Cabinet 6 is probably my all-time favorite cigar, and they're very difficult to find. LFD makes a great product, and they have. I don't know if I would call it a shortage, but they have such high quality control standards that they don't just kick out cigars just to kick them out. They make sure that they meet their standards. So you are usually waiting on your LFD orders, as most shops will know.
Right. And they're expecting to get some Cabinet 6 in probably next week.
Man, I may have to drive up there just to get me some Cabinet 6s, man. I may take you up on that offer after all if I can't find any soon.
Yeah, let me know.
Chuck actually offered to go by there and get me some, but as most of you guys know, it's kind of like the hunt for me on the cigars I smoke. I like to be on the hunt for them, and it just makes it that much more rewarding whenever I can find one. But I do know I'm going to be doing a interview at the Safari Cigar Lounge in Omaha on Thursday morning, and I know they've got the Cabinet 6 because I had one earlier this week. I know I'm probably gonna pick up a few before I go back to Texas.
Oh, that'll be perfect.
Yeah.
Get some gifts back with you.
Oh, absolutely. And let me tell you about this place in Omaha. They have the best espresso I've had in a long time. Very nice place. I can't wait to go back there and do an interview this coming week. That will actually be on the show next Saturday, not this Saturday. Chuck, yours is going to be on this Saturday with Octavia, and then we'll also have the cigar of the week, and then we'll also talk to CigarManOffical about the cigar tip of the week. How long have you been smoking cigars, Chuck?
I'm actually fairly new to seriously smoking. I really started seriously smoking about a year ago. Now, I've been smoking cigars, kind of toying with it for probably 15 years.
It takes on a whole new level once you get into it big time, doesn't it?
Absolutely. When I look back, I think my first cigar ever was on a cruise ship. It was a Davidoff. I kind of got smitten then, and just never really got seriously into it.
Sure.
It's kind of an expensive habit. And in the last year or so, my family went on a cruise last year, and my son and I split a box of Cubans, and that kind of launched me down this path. So ever since then, I collect whatever I can find. I always try to find something different when I'm at the shop.
Now, do you actually have a collection of cigars like that you don't smoke, or you just put them in the humidor and smoke them as they go?
There's a few that I keep in the humidor. Some of my Cubans. There's a few cigars that I keep in there that I just like to sit and let age a little bit.
Right.
But I pick at them here and there. I'm not really a collector so much.
Yeah, I'm not a collector. I'm a smoker. So, and I'm gonna have to correct you on something, Chuck. It's not a habit. It's a hobby.
That's true. But once or vices are now hobbies.
That's correct. Because I like to say that, I don't smoke because I have to. I smoke because I want to.
That is absolutely true.
So many cigars, so little time.
Absolutely.
So what do you got coming up this weekend? You going to any good cigar shops coming up?
Well, actually, I'm traveling with my wife and my son and his family. We're taking a trip down to Washington, D.C., so I haven't had a chance yet to look and see if there's any good cigar shops near where we're going to be.
Oh, okay.
I'm sure I'll find time to visit one.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure there's several over there in that area. I've talked to a couple of guys that used to live in D.C., and they've told me about some shops. I can't remember the name of them off the top of my head, but I know there's definitely going to be some good shops over there for you.
Yeah, I'll guarantee there's some. I just haven't done my research yet. And then whenever we travel, and my wife and I travel pretty frequently, as often as we can, I always kind of base vacation around where can I find good cigars. So.
Oh, that's a must. Yeah.
Yeah, she kind of tolerates me in that way. Like, okay, well, you got to stop at this shop.
Yeah, that's good to have a wife that tolerates. Isn't that nice?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat.
Perfect.
My wife, in fact, we're taking vacation this year in August, and our vacation is taking us up to Colorado for the Rocky Mountain Cigar Fest. So that's how cool my wife is. She's not going to an actual festival, but she will be hanging out at the hotel and maybe do some shopping while I'm at the festival. So it's funny that you say that because, yeah, that's how our vacations are too. our travel arrangements are always based around cigar availability and new shops and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, we're actually taking a cruise to Cuba in 2 weeks.
Man,
so I guess
well,
next
you know
weekend,
what?
Yeah.
I'm going to have you back on the show after that trip so you can tell everybody about it, because I know a lot of people, including myself, wonder about how good those cruises are and what they mean for the cigar enthusiasts. So we'll have to get you back on so you can tell us about it.
I'll be happy to.
Yeah, I've seen some of those advertisements on going to Cuba on these cruises, and I thought, man, that'd be pretty cool. So you definitely got to let us know how that goes.
Yeah, I'd be happy to. Yeah, we kind of looked at it and thought, hey, it's someplace we've never gone before that I don't know many people that have gone there.
Right.
And it'll give me a good chance to do a little shopping and bring back some really good cigars for fairly cheap.
Yeah, that sounds good. And now, do you know what the rules are as far as about bringing back cigars?
Yeah, you can bring back up to 100 cigars per person.
Right. Since I've never been to Cuba, I don't know what the price range for cigars in Cuba are. But 100 cigars sounds like plenty.
That's more. I won't be bringing home anywhere near that. But,
right.
But they say that, I've done a little research on it, and they say that a good Cuban cigar will cost you about $10 American there.
Okay, so it costs about what our cigars cost us here, but they're Cubans.
Exactly, and I've gone throughout the world and buy cigars wherever we stop, and I'll usually pick up a Cuban or two, and they're usually going to run you $30 to $35 anywhere else.
Right.
So it's a good opportunity to stock up a little bit and pack the humidor a little.
Now, do you since you've smoked quite a bit of Cubans, do you have some favorite Cuban cigars?
My absolute favorite would be the Bolivar. I smoked the Bolivar when we were in Ireland last year, and just absolutely loved it. So I'm really hoping to pick up a box while I'm over there. And then after that, Monte Cristos, you can't go wrong.
Okay. Well, I've never actually had the Bolivar, and I've always wanted to smoke those. I love the band on them, and it's a beautiful made cigar. So I can definitely see how that one would be a good one.
I'll tell you what, if I can come out with a box, I'll ship you out one.
Oh man! Now, see, you went from taunting me to making me a happy man.
That's what I aim for. It's all about friends, That's what the whole hobby's about.
Absolutely. And, I pair up, I like to ask other people, like, what do you pair your cigars with? I'm a huge coffee drinker, so I love pairing cigars with coffee, but what do you pair yours with?
I'm more of a beer guy. I like stouts, so I like to pair my cigars with a good stout or with a bourbon.
Okay. What kind of bourbon do you like?
Probably my favorite, I got a bunch of them over here. My absolute favorite is generally going to be Blanton's. I can pair that with almost anything.
Okay.
I also like the E.H. Taylor. Makes a really nice bourbon. And
are those nationals, or those made or distilled where you're at? I don't know those, but like I said, I'm not a big bourbon drinker. I usually stick with my Buffalo Trace, or I'll also be drinking some of my Jameson. So I don't know all the brands like most of you guys who drink a lot of bourbon.
Yeah, no, they're all national. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, Blanton's made by Buffalo Trace.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they contracted Buffalo, and Buffalo makes it for them.
And is that a higher end bourbon than what Buffalo Trace is?
A little higher end than Buffalo Trace, but it's not one of your, really expensive bottles. It's a nice, dependable. It's
not $80 a bottle.
No, I can usually pick it up for somewhere between $40 and $50.
Oh, okay, that's not too bad.
Yeah, if it was something I was drinking every night, that'd be different. But
Right. Well, I usually go for like a Sumatra or Kenya or Costa Rican coffee with a cigar. That's where my main love is, and mainly because I'm smoking cigars, all day long, so I can't be drinking bourbon all day long.
Yeah, that doesn't go well with work, first of all.
Right. So, all right, man. Well, hey, we appreciate you taking the time to talk with us, and we definitely want to hook back up after you take that trip so you can tell us about it.
Sure, I'll let you know when I get back.
All right, man. Well, hey, enjoy your smoke and keep smoking, my friend.
Hey, good talking to you.
Hey, you too, Chuck. Take care, man.
Hey, bro.
What's going on, brother?
How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing better than deserved. Just firing up a Viva La Vida cigar right now, and it's pretty.
Dude, how many
tasty.
did you get?
That's none of your damn business. No, I'm just kidding. I had a guy at the cigar shop one day ask me, he said, Rob, how many cigars do you smoke a day? And I said, that's none of your damn business. No, I got quite a few, but anyway.
That's awesome.
So, do you have a good cigar tip of the week?
You know, I've just been hanging out with people that I thought were pretty savvy and about cigars, and you know, I just see how they light their cigars, and so I thought I'd talk about cigar lighting, even though it's kind of commonly known. I think a lot of people still don't know.
I think that's a great idea because I see so many people at the cigar shop completely lighting their cigar the wrong way.
So, I mean, it seems like you know, you're afraid to talk about it because you think everybody knows about it, but I really don't see that many people know how to properly. You know, they're basically torching their cigar, or they're
Well,
not
the worst one that I see just like all the time is they put the cigar in their mouth and then they hold the jet torch like directly under the tip, shooting the flame straight up. And I'm like, you're not even evenly lighting the cigar. And the thing about it is, when you don't light the tip of your cigar or the foot of the cigar evenly, you've already lost the cigar because it's meant to be smoked evenly. And so when you light just like a portion of the foot, you're already starting out of the gate wrong.
Well, you know, that's what I thought I would do is just go, here are some, you know, I've seen people do it with candles before, you know, because they didn't have a lighter, which is the worst, you know, thing you can do because you have all that wax and everything. You've ruined the cigar.
Well, that's almost the worst thing you can do. You know what that worst thing you can do is? Paul from 5150 Cigar Tours told me one day he didn't have any fire and he was sitting out on the porch and he lit it with one of those citronella torch things that ward off mosquitoes. So the whole cigar tasted like citronella.
Oh my gosh, that is the worst. I've not heard that one before. So
yeah,
bring that one up.
That's pretty bad. So CigarManOffical, what's your tip of the week? Give it to us.
Excellent. Hey, Rob. Well, thanks for reaching out. Today's cigar, or this week's. Can we start over?
Hey, well, what you
I didn't know we were starting.
Hey, what you don't know is we were recording when you answered the phone.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
No, because we go. That's my new thing is we're gonna just record it all. And then
you edit. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, hey, maybe we edit. I'm not saying we're gonna edit, but maybe we edit.
I know, right? Okay, now I'll leave it up to you. Anyways, this week's cigar tip is about lighting a cigar. I just felt probably something to bring up, and I go to a lot of cigar shops, and someone taught me how to do it, and I feel there's a lot of learning that can be done. So some ideas here.
Okay.
But so a couple things not to do before we start off on what to do is light a cigar with something that has chemicals in it. So like candles,
citronella,
as you talked about, or even just lighting from your fireplace or your from your stove. I mean, I've heard it all. So yeah, you want to avoid kind of non-traditional ways to light your cigar because you're just going to torch the foot of the cigar and it's not going to burn evenly and it's going to be ruined. So the key, let's talk about what to do. So with the cigar, you have three different types of tobacco there. You have the filler, you have the binder, and then you have the wrapper. And the wrapper is really where you get the flavor, so you got to be careful. You don't want to burn that or toast that. So the key to lighting a cigar is really first of all, the type, what you're going to light it with. So,
now, what do you prefer?
My preference for ease of use is a butane lighter, but the best smokes that I get is typically from a cedar strip.
See, I'm really big on the cedar strip, and that's not always available. But when I'm at the cigar shop, 99% of the time, I take a torch, light the cedar stick, and then that's what I use. And it's not, it looks fancy, like you know what you're doing. But the real part for me is that it's a soft flame, and you can adjust by how you hold the cedar stick, how big the flame is. So you can cover the whole foot of the cigar and just take your time and light the entire cigar. And, and I'm sure you're going to say this, so I'm sorry if I'm stepping on your toes, but as you're lighting that cigar with a cedar stick, you want to hold your cigar down like at a 45-degree angle and roll the cigar as you're lighting it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, you hit it on the head, and yeah, you did steal my thunder, but that's cool. I mean, I can add on to that.
Hey, well, I was going to say, I hope you have another technique. Go ahead. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no, not at all. Definitely, whether it's a wood match, you don't want to use cardboard matches. Cardboard matches have, again, chemicals in there that get right into your tobacco, and you're basically ruining a cigar. So avoid, really what you want, the three things that you want to light a cigar with is a butane lighter, a cedar stick that's lit by a butane lighter, something that's not going to damage that, and then, or a wooden match. And make sure you don't light it when you light the sulfur part. Wait till it gets to the wood.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
You don't want to have that sulfur taste going through your cigar.
Exactly. So those are the three things you want to light with. So always carry a box of matches with you when you go to a cigar shop, whatever. That's a tip that actually probably the best tip is always have a way to light a cigar with you. So I carry matches with me. I have boxes everywhere, and I have them in my briefcase, you name it. So at least if I don't have a lighter, I have a way to light a cigar.
Well, what's funny that you say that is because I remember this cartoon years ago that I saw, and it had like a picture of a bowling alley and this guy standing up there holding a bowling ball, and it had a pin on the back far left and a pin on the back far right, and it said bowler's hell. So for me, the cigar smoker's hell is when you have a cigar and no way to light it.
No way to light it, or no way to cut it.
Right.
Exactly. No, I've been there, done that, and it is frustrating. And you're just like you're dangling a carrot in front of you, you can't eat it. And so, yeah, that I would say that's what you want to light with is, get the right tools to light with. And then you're good. Now the key is understanding why you light the cigars that way. So you named it right. You do it down at a 45-degree angle. Because you have those three layers of tobacco, what you're wanting to do is you want to seal the wrapper to the binder and to the filler. So the way to do that is to light from the outside in. A lot of people will just put the cigar to their mouth and just start puffing on it right away. And What you're doing is you're lighting the inside out. And so it's not sealing the cigar at the foot. And so this is something I learned from people who've been smoking cigars for years, is basically you want to kind of seal that binder in there. And then, so you light from the outside in, you do that at a 45-degree angle. Never put the cigar in the flame. Never put the cigar in the flame. Remember that. You're always wanting the heat of the flame to light the cigar. So it takes a little bit longer. People are impatient, but that's the fine art of cigar smoking is if you want to be knowing how to do this right and you want everybody to admire the way you're doing, there's nothing more beautiful than that first minute or two of lighting a cigar. People were like, just light the damn thing.
Right,
no,
right.
Do it right, because the whole cigar experience is smoking something that smokes evenly. And if you light it incorrectly, you're going to be fighting that thing, whether it's tunneling, whether it's, you name it. you're going to be really struggling with that cigar the whole way through, and it's not a fun experience.
Yeah,
you want to be able to
and I've
smoke.
seen people light them like, they get one side lit because they're not rolling it as they light it, and that's a great way to have your cigar burn in a canoeing effect where you're just burning half of it down the side. That's a really bad way to start out a cigar.
And it happens when you cook it too much to one side. What happens, you got to roll that cigar, as you said. You turn that cigar kind of like a piece of meat, to get it evenly around the start. The start will give you a great finish. Remember that. If you start right, you'll finish right.
I like it.
And so, so that, that's in a nutshell, in summary, you want to get the right tools, make sure you have matches with you at all times. Every time you go to a cigar shop, pick up some cedar sticks, put them in your bag, in your car, or whatever, so you have them. And then if you have a butane lighter or a couple of butane lighters, that's, the fast way. But
hey,
even
can we get somebody that can make a torch lighter that will work all the time?
Dude, that is the biggest.
I mean, it's like, come on. Is
Don't
it
even
that
go there.
difficult? Right. That's a whole nother show, right?
That is, yeah.
So I did see, I want to throw this in there right quick. I did see, I don't know if you follow Big Smoke on Instagram, but he's in Kuwait at like probably one of the coolest.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so he was showing Zycar has actually made an electric lighter. It has no flame. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen Zycar's version of it, but I've seen like USB versions of that, and I'm still trying to figure that out. It creates heat, basically.
It creates heat, and it's a round lighter, and you actually just stick the tip down in there, and it creates heat and lights the whole thing. Now, when he did a demonstration of lighting it with it, and it looked like it lit perfectly. I haven't actually seen one in person, but I thought it was a cool concept. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's crap. I would never do that. But after seeing Big Smoke do it, it was really cool because it did light the tip of the cigar evenly. So, I mean...
Well, what I like about that, actually, and I've thought about it, is when you travel, you can't take lighters with you.
Oh, that's a great idea because, I just lost all my lighters on my last trip to Nebraska. I had to just throw them in the trash.
Are you kidding me? I was wondering if you were able to make it back.
Well,
oh, no.
I'll tell you this, and hopefully nobody that works for the TSA is listening to this show, but I threw away 2 torches and a soft flame butane lighter. But what I didn't throw away was I forgot that I had the Zycar table lighter in my backpack, and it's probably about 2.5 inches wide, and it's a round table lighter, and it weighs probably about 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds. And anyway, I got to Nebraska, and I was like, holy crap, they could have taken my lighter. So when I got back to the airport to fly back to Texas, I went up to the counter, and I said, hey, this lighter does not have any butane in it. Can I put it in my carry-on, or can I check it in my bag? How can I fly home with this? And so they checked and came back and was like, nope, you can't take it. So, I mean, and this is like $150 lighter. So I just rolled the dice and put it back in my bag. And when we went through TSA check, they didn't say a word.
Well, hopefully nobody from TSA is listening.
Right.
But,
well, you know what? I put it right in the front pocket, so if they wanted to take it out, they were more than happy to take it out. I was just like, what? I made it up here.
Learn from our mistakes, guys. Learn from our mistakes. I had a very nice lighter that was given to me by somebody very special, and I literally had to call somebody to come back, to drive back to the airport and pick it up because I was not going to lose it. But lighters cannot go when you travel. So this thing that you're talking about from Zycar might be a solution for that because there's no butane, no way to light it. It's just heat.
Yeah, that's a great idea. That's a really good. I hadn't thought of that.
Yeah, that's a tip right there. And enjoy. The whole idea of the show, man, light them up, right?
Exactly.
So I thought we would, discuss how to properly light them up at least.
Well, I think that's a good tip, and I know, there's a lot of experienced cigar smokers that are like, I already know how to smoke a cigar, or no, I know how to light a cigar. But man, you look around the shops, there's a lot of people that don't know how to light a cigar. I have a couple of guys at our shop, the local one here in town, the Leaf, and I've had to be like, hey, wait, what are you doing? You're just torching the outside of your cigar, because they hold it directly under the cigar. You know what I mean?
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
And I'm
no,
like,
I've done that.
yeah. So, that's not the way you want to go. But anyway, man, well, hey, dude, I appreciate you giving us our cigar tip of the week, and we'll be talking to you real soon.
Look forward to it, man. Have a great week.
Hey, you too, bud. Hey guys, hope you enjoyed the show. Now it's time for the cigar of the week. I'm going to go with the AJ Fernandez new cigar called Viva La Vida. I've smoked it here over the course of the show, and I've thoroughly enjoyed it. It's a medium-bodied smoke, medium in strength. And I tell you what, the construction is perfect. It burns nice and even. It's slow. It's just a really, really good cigar. And just say hats off to those guys over there making great cigars. So now it's time for Cigar Talk trivia. And first person to send me the correct answer will win a couple of Viva La Vida cigars. And the Cigar Talk trivia question of the week is, if you go back to the Ambassador in All of Us episode, if you can tell me where the McAuliffe Cigar headquarters is located, and you're the first person to send me an email with that answer, I'll be sending you a couple of Viva La Vida cigars. And so anyway, guys, next week we've got a good show coming up in Omaha, Nebraska. We went by the Safari Cigar Lounge and did a show there. Great people, fabulous lounge, somewhere I could hang out for days. They have a humidor that's huge. If you didn't get a chance, check out my IGTV video. I'd give a tour of their shop. Fantastic cigar lounge, and I would definitely be hanging out there a lot if I was up in Omaha very often. So anyway, guys, I hope you have a great week, and until next time, keep smoking, my friends.